Greetings, fellow degenerates. We are back for week 5, our Sunday morning show. It's time to watch some football and to make a little scratch on the side while you're watching football. Don't do this just to waste your life away. You gotta get some bread, start stacking, right? And
Exactly.
AG has us in the place to be because he is the guy who. Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't even keep up with you because you do so much work. That's me on my phone here. That's you do so much work, so much you just grind through this stuff. And I'm not saying that it's like a whole lot of work because some of the stuff you just like, oh, this is just intuitively a really
Hey,
good
nothing's easy.
So-
Whenever you think it's easy,
so-
that's when you got to think twice.
Okay, and I don't mean that. I'm just saying,
But
like,
I know what you mean.
you
Yes,
don't
I know
have
what
to
you mean.
go through and do a whole bunch of like really in-depth analysis. Some of this stuff you can glance at it and see like something's not right here. This seems like too good to be true, or
Yep.
this seems like what are they doing? Why are they trying? And one of the ones that you pointed out, we're going to get to in a little bit, but it's that Geno Smith touchdown play on FanDuel. But we're going to get into a whole bunch of plays. We're actually going to try to keep track of how many plays we can pull off in in an episode here. But this is the place to be if you want to get a rapid fire breakdown of as many games as we can possibly fit in here in about 45 minutes or so. So buckle up, get your popcorn, and get your notepad too. I got mine. Let's go. Let's get into it. AG,
I got mine.
kick us off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, how's that Giants game looking? I know you got it on the TV right up there.
It's 10-3, and Green Bay's driving. Green Bay has the lead.
Okay.
And we got about 10 minutes to go in the first half. And, yeah, they're on the 25 of the Giants. So Green Bay's about to put a little more distance between themselves and the Giants this morning.
Yeah, sorry,
in London.
We weren't getting up at 7:30 to cover the beginning of that one. Sorry.
Look, and to be honest, it's not even about that. Like I was up a couple hours before the game started. To me, it's more I hate betting those games because I don't know. Like I'm just going to be perfectly honest. Like I have no idea how those people are going to respond to the jet lag, the diet, the whatever the disruption to their routines, all those things. I'm just like, you know what? Y'all go play that game over there, and I'm going to just sit back and watch, and I'm not putting any money on either side of anything because I don't trust it. I don't trust myself to know, and I think anybody who tries to tell you like, oh yeah, I know exactly how the, Daniel Jones and Aaron Rodgers are going to respond to being in London for like, no, you don't. I would have not been surprised at all if the Giants were up 17-0 right now because Aaron Rodgers will just have one of those games every now and then,
Yeah. All right, but let's get into it. So
let's get into it.
The first game on the list for the 1 p.m. games, or 1 p.m. Eastern at least. Sorry, Chad.
Right.
But yeah, we got the Seahawks at the Saints. It's still -5.5. I mean, we talked about this game. There's an episode earlier on the channel from yesterday.
Let's pull it up.
Where we talked about how the Saints are favored by 5.5, and they really should not be. So we like the Seahawks here.
So we still have 5.5. Yeah.
I mean, I like taking plus 5.5 in if I'm taking it straight even, but if I'm putting it in a parlay to play safe, I'm going plus 5.5, right? But I kind of want to take Seahawks money line here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As just a play, at least sprinkle a little bit of pizza money down. Yeah, you don't even have to do pizza money because pizza money is getting expensive these days. Like, but you know what I mean? But you could do like a little pack of water bottle money or something, whatever, $4 or $5 on it. You know what I mean? And it'll get you a nice little win there.
Yeah, you're not getting, you must not be getting Fiji water if you get.
Yeah, no, I'm not getting
pack of water for $5.
No shot. This is Fiji water.
This is the generic knockoff.
Yeah, purified drink, great value. Yeah,
great value. There you go. The Walmart special.
Hey,
yes,
what I go there and I divide, the amount of water bottles by the price, and I take the best deal. Most water bottles. That's all I do when I walk into the store.
Shout out to the stores that have it on the label on the shelf that tells you how many, what the per unit price is. All right, so let's get into it.
But yeah, Chad gave one of my plays with the Geno Smith over 1.5 passing touchdowns as a player prop here in this game. I love that. He's hit it in 3 out of 4 games. The only game he missed was San Fran, and that was just not a good game for them. And we were kind of all over that anyway. We were not surprised by that game, so we didn't expect him to do anything crazy in that game anyway. But against this Saints defense, I mean, why not? The Seahawks are averaging under 1 touchdown per game, or rushing.
Oh yeah,
so
right.
they get their touchdowns in the air, and with the over-under set at, what is it, like 46.5?
Mm-hmm.
They got that set at 46.5 with the Saints as a 5.5 point favorite. You're looking at the Seahawks getting at least 20 points.
45.5 now.
Okay, so
on FanDuel. Yeah.
They're looking at a 26-20 game then, which is potentially 3 touchdowns for the Seahawks,
Right.
but at least 2. And they like I said, they average under 1 rushing. So if it pans out how the book is projecting here, Geno Smith 2 touchdowns, but at plus 126, that's why I love it. I'm not taking Geno Smith 2 touchdowns on minus 110. It's just not worth it, even though it might hit anyway. But at plus 126, give me that any day for Geno Smith.
So you're looking like at something like this for the stuff that's on, maybe not as a parlay, but something that, because you can't do all this as a parlay. But anyway,
well, you can parlay it, just not in the same game. You can parlay it with other games,
right, with other games. But you're looking. This is kind of where you're landing on this is Seahawks money line, Seahawks plus the 5.5, and then Geno Smith over 1.5. Do we want to get into a little bit about what we talked about the other day when we analyzed this game? That
go ahead.
Something stinks about this. Like why it doesn't make any sense to me that the Saints are favored by 5.5, and I get seeing that just for what it is and saying it doesn't make sense. Let me slam the Seattle side of this. But I don't know. So the odds makers and the money that goes in early on this stuff, sometimes they see something that we don't see, and I'm just wondering, like, what is this too good to be true? This offer that they're handing out to us for Seattle in the 5.5. I'm tempted to either stay away from it or hit the Saints on the spread on this one. But I do like the Geno Smith because I think either way that this thing goes, I think the Geno Smith over touchdowns 1.5 is a really good bet, really good money. Plus at plus 126, that's good money right there. This is a nice bet right here. I like. Yo, AG, you dipped, man. Where you at? You muted.
My bad.
You muted. Yeah,
I got it. We're good now.
All right.
I'm pretty sure he hit 3 in the first, or 3 in 3 out of the 4 games. He's hit 2 touchdowns, and 2 of those he hit 3. I'm pretty sure. So I mean, like, he can do it. Yeah, he's slinging the rock. I could be wrong about that. I might be mixing it up with somebody else, but either way, he's hitting that number that we need. The other play I like in this is Chris Olave. I like his receiving yards at 65.5, but I don't, that's not my official play on Chris Olave, but I do like that also. What I really like is his over 22.5 yards longest reception.
Okay. All right. Let's find that
coming in at minus 122 last I looked.
Where am I missing it?
Just go down to it's probably above alt receiving.
Okay.
It's probably right before alt receiving. Longest reception, player receiving yards, boom, boom, boom. Should be on there somewhere. I got it on mine. I don't know.
Well, it might be building me into. Oh, I'm in popular. So let me go to receiving props.
Oh, you're in same game parlay. Yeah, go to receiving props.
Yeah, let me go to.
There you go.
So longest reception.
So the reason I like this is because.
Yeah, there we go.
The reason I love this is because he's he's averaging 16 yards per catch right now. He's their favorite deep ball threat, and he's really coming into his own. I mean, that's 65 he's hitting every game, I think, since week 1. So I like that too. Just not as much as I like this. In his last 3 games, he's hit 32 was his longest catch, 49 was his longest catch in the game before that, and in week 2, 51 was his longest catch. They're throwing it to him. And in week 1, the only game he missed this mark was his first game of his career, and the longest catch was 20 yards. He was 3 yards short of this mark. With Andy Dalton back there slinging it, it depends. But he got 32 last week. It's like, I don't know how to judge whether Andy Dalton's better than Jameis Winston or not. You know what I mean? But the point is, there's no big chop off. Is the point?
Yeah, there was a stretch of time where, like, after Cam Newton's MVP year, if you looked at their stat lines, Cam Newton and Andy Dalton were identical, except for, like, I think Cam Newton had maybe a 300-yard total rushing yards lead on him, but passing, they were identical. So, like, when you're looking at a receiver prop, that's all you care about. I don't care about Andy Dalton's ability to run the ball. And Jameis Winston wasn't really a big run threat either.
Yeah, he wasn't taking off anyway.
So like they're I think they're very similar. I think Dalton probably protects the ball a little bit better than Winston. So you're probably having a greater chance at some more sustained
He's
drives.
safer.
However, he may not be as willing to throw the ball into those 50-50 situations where Olave can go and win. So it'll be one of those where he's going to have to beat some broken coverage or something like that to get behind somebody,
But that's why
deep square in or something.
That's why I like this play too, because
Absolutely.
because he can take a slant for another 30 yards. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? It's not like they have to throw a go route down the field. Now, the other reason I really love this play also is because the Seahawks are literally last in the league, 32nd in the league in yards per completion on defense.
Jamal Adams getting knocked out in game 1 did not help that.
Exactly.
That was a big losing that safety is a big
they average about 15 yards. I forget. I think it was 15. I didn't write down the number, but I think it was like they average like 15 yards per completion on defense. So they're giving up big plays left and right in the passing game anyway. And Chris Olave is a big player.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to throw that in a parlay. You can't parlay that in the same game parlay in this game, but you can parlay that with some of the other stuff that we're going to give out in the next hour or so. So, I love that play, man. That's one of my favorites. Cause I mean, even week 1, his first game, this is the only time he missed this, and it was 20 yards. He was 3 yards short of this. They're giving us a deal here. He's already averaging 16 for every catch. You know what I mean? I like this.
All right.
I think if he hits this, it's going to go up next week. You know what I mean? So we got to take it now because they're not going to give us something that low again with the numbers that he's been putting up.
Gotcha.
I also go ahead.
Oh, you got something else in this game? Okay, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it might not be a bad idea to look at Alvin Kamara in the passing game with Andy Dalton in the backfield. Jameis Winston kind of hasn't been using him. Like
receptions or 3.5 receptions, or are we looking at yards?
Yeah, like I think 3.5 receptions could make sense here. Yards could make sense also. I'm not saying that these are locks or anything, but I'm just throwing out ideas here because with ever since Drew Brees left, Alvin Kamara's value has gone. Alvin Kamara's value has gone down since he hasn't been with Drew Brees because he's not as involved in the passing game. Drew Brees was giving him the rock every other play, whether it was a handoff or a pass. You know what I mean? But with Andy Dalton back there, veteran quarterback who isn't going to take those risks and isn't going to turn the ball over like we just talked about with Jameis Winston, he's going to play a little more of a moderate game. We know that he's more of a game manager kind of guy than a risk taker like Jameis Winston. So he's going to put on Alvin Kamara. So I like that over 3.5. I mean, that's 4 catches. He can do that any day. He can do that in his sleep. I like his value a little better with Andy Dalton in there than Jameis Winston, in my opinion. What do you think about that, Chad?
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you. I mean, I dig it. What do you think about the 26.5 yards? I think that may be an easier get than the 3.5 receptions because he could go 3 for 30 easy. He could be get 1 20-yarder and then.
Well, especially with what I just said about the Seahawks defense and how they defend the pass. Whenever you're last in the league in yards per completion, it doesn't mean that everybody's just going deep on you, man. That means that you're not tackling well. So I like Alvin Kamara out of the backfield to break 1 for 20. Yeah, definitely. Like, those weren't plays I keyed in on, but I thought about it and I figured it's worth mentioning about that. Sure. Yo, Chad, you're all cut off by our banner.
I don't care. It's fine. My face is
right.
my face.
I just didn't know if you wanted to turn that off, maybe. Or
my face is not important.
I guess you're correct on that one. I got no argument.
I'll go dip in here. I'll go hide in here, right here, in the tuck. But all right. So what's our next game? Yeah, let's move. No, let's move on to the next one. And
next one I had on was Steelers at Bills, but we can go in the order of whatever order FanDuel's in.
No, that's what it's got. Steelers Bills.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that's the order I was going in. Kenny Pickett's first start. What do we think about this? Do they have a chance in this game, Chad?
According to John Ryan, yes.
Really?
That's what's kind of crazy about this. Okay. Yeah. So he had this wild stat where it's like double digit dogs. It was something crazy where it's like 40%. It's like 19 and 29 straight up. 19 and 29 straight up. Double digit dogs and I don't remember the exact scenario, but it was the scenario that fits this model. You'd have to go back and look at the show that we did yesterday morning. But anyway, it was crazy. And the against the spread was even crazier. So I think Pittsburgh covering here is, according to John's analysis, is perhaps the safest bet. it's 14 right now. Like that's wild. But you could even sprinkle a little bit on that money line, and you're getting 7-1 odds. So it's
that's where you need to put some Fiji water. No, not Fiji water. Some great value water.
some
money.
great value water money. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, and that's the big wild card, right? Is like anytime you have a guy like this, and it's his first start, you don't know what kind of energy that is going to spark the team with, what they're going to come out, how they're going to come out playing. And let's be honest, Buffalo, the way that they've been playing, they have not been lighting the world on fire like everyone expected them to. They played really well against the Rams in week 1, and then they've stubbed their toe a couple of times. They really got bailed out by Baltimore late in that game. And so like you look at them and you're like, man, I'm confident they'll get it together and they'll be all right come playoff time. And they're still a threat to win the Super Bowl. And I'm actually looking at them. I'm waiting for the number to come down to a point where I'm like, okay, now that everybody else
hoping they lose this game.
Well, I do the same thing with stock investing. When everybody else is hating the oil companies,
you gotta buy
I'm buying the oil companies.
Yep.
When everybody's like, this is terrible, and they're talking about electric vehicles for by 2035 worldwide.
So are you buying the Steelers?
So I'm tempted to. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on that money line just because I
the
like
way
it.
that they're going to
Pickett. Yeah, what's your Pickett line?
Well, I don't have anything on Pickett, but the fact that he's starting, if they want to win that game, you don't want to throw your quarterback out into the fire for his first start. Your new franchise quarterback.
I like your angle
against the Bills defense, especially. You know what I mean? Like that's not something where you just want to have him out there slinging it, especially how it went in the second half last week when he was slinging it. I mean, he threw 3 picks, borderline, not all his fault, but he was slinging it, man. He's just throwing it up there. You do not want to start the game off with that. You want to establish a run game, and you want to keep the defense off the field so they're not tired with the Bills driving on them left and right. You know how the Bills play on offense, so you want to keep your defense off the field. You want to keep their offense off the field, obviously. You're going to run the ball and try to kill some clock while you're doing it, long, sustained drives. You don't want Kenny Pickett just out there slinging it on that Bills defense. So I'm looking at Najee Harris over 14.5 rushing attempts. Why not? Right. In the last 3 games, he's hit 18, 15, 15. So he's right there around that mark. But this is a different game because, like I said, we got a different situation here. Kenny Pickett is getting his first start. You don't want to throw him out into the fire and have him just slinging a Brock left and right. Now, the pushback on this, obviously, is that the Bills can jump out to a 21-0 lead in the first quarter if things go, haywire for the Steelers.
I don't think that negates this,
they don't run the ball. But
I don't know. I think they still. I think they're still going to run the ball.
Well, it's a situation of like we saw what happened in week 2, where if you took Derrick Henry props week 2 against the Bills, you got fucked because they got out of the run game very, very early. If you took Leonard Fournette last week, which we're going to talk about later, same thing. They got out of the run game really early when it didn't work real quick and they were down. Now, that's the only pushback on this. I still think this hits.
Yeah, I think.
But I just didn't want to. I wanted to be fair and mention that. You know what I mean?
The difference there is that in that situation, Tampa Bay's playing at home, and it's Tom Brady, and they're trying to win that game because that's an important game for their hopes as a division contender, a Super Bowl contender, and everything else. Whereas Mike Tomlin is not going to just throw Kenny Pickett to the wolves because they get down 17-0. Even if they get down 17-0, I still think you're going to get a steady diet of Najee Harris. Because you want to protect your quarterback. You don't want him to regress because he throws 3 picks in his first start and then he starts having to hear the people chirping in his ear. So I like this 15.5, but I wanted to bring this up to you, see what you think of this. I'm looking at alt rushing yards, and like 70 and 80 for Najee Harris is plus 220 and plus 320. And that's one of those situations where it may be worth at least a look, maybe as part of a parlay that you just kind of sprinkle in. Maybe you could even tease it down into this 40-50 range if it's part of a single game parlay.
What's his regular line set up?
I think it's 55.5 or something. Let me see. Hang on.
Probably like minus 110, 113, something like that.
This is all alt rushing yards. I had it over here.
Now go up. Go up.
What? No, it's not in
Go
there.
Well, it should be in there. You were in rushing.
I know, but it was all like
go
alt
up.
stuff. Oh, there we go.
Scroll
My bad.
up.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah. It is 53.5. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then that's at like what, minus 110 or something?
Yeah, minus 110.
Yeah. So, I mean, at that point, you're looking at 20 more yards for some pretty good value there. So, I mean, I don't hate that at all. Definitely.
Yeah.
The other play I had in this game, it kind of has the same pushback of like if they get out to a lead, but I have pushback for my pushback also because I got Josh Allen. I got Josh Allen over 271.5 passing yards. You could alt it down to be safer. You know, you could go down to 250, 225 if you want to play it safer in the parlay or something, maybe. Up to you. But he's hit this in 3 out of 4. He missed last week against Baltimore, which is surprising since Baltimore is the worst passing defense in the league in terms of yards. But that's the only game he missed this line so far. The Steelers are 21st in defensive passing yards, and they're 19th in sack percentage. So it's not like they're going to be getting back there to him. He's going to have a chance to sling it. You know, that's the Bills' recipe anyway. They're not going to run the ball much. My pushback here was the same thing of like, oh, well, they could get out to like a 21-point lead, 17-point lead and start trying to milk clock running the ball a little bit. But my pushback for that pushback would be they ain't running the ball. You know what I mean? I mean, they won 41-7 against the Titans. He still threw the ball 38 times in that game, had 317 yards. But they have no run game. So they're kind of in a position like the Ravens where if they get out to a lead, they have to just keep passing. If they try to start running, they're going to get stuff. And then the Dolphins come back 40 points on you. You know what I mean?
But to your point, you could tease it down though.
Exactly. Just to play safe
250
for that exact reason.
Yeah. 250 or 225, you get minus 210, minus 440. I wouldn't bet either of those straight, but I could make that part of a 3-leg parlay.
Exactly.
And then
I would only tease it down. Only tease it down if you're parlaying it.
Yeah.
You got anything else on this game? And I think the Bills win. I don't know if they cover that 14 though. That's tough. I'm gonna stay away from a side on that.
14 is steep. I would
Those
actually
are my 2 favorite things.
Yeah, I would take based on John Ryan's analysis. This is what I'm doing. I'm going here. I might dabble a little bit with some of the props that you mentioned there, especially like the Najee Harris one. But I actually like this, and then I like a little bit of a sprinkle here on these two. So let's just leave your Najee Harris stuff in there. But yeah, so if we did, if I have Najee Harris and the Steelers covering, let's see what that looks like. You gotta take one of them out. Parlay. Yeah, I am. I'm working on it. Give me a second, man.
All right.
So
shout out to Jay Pilon in the chat. Good morning, bro. What's up, dog?
What's up, Jay? So why is it not allowing me?
Let me know. Am I saying your name right? Is it Pylon?
It's Pylon. It's Pylon.
It is Pylon? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me do that over. Shout out Jay Pylon in the chat. Good morning, bro.
Yeah. So I don't know why, but it's saying that they can't be parlayed. And why can't the spread? Why can't I have these two in a parlay together? That doesn't make any sense.
What is it? Oh, you're at rushing attempts. That's why you can't same game parlay it. I thought you were looking at the yards on that one, so my bad.
Okay, so I can just do yards. All right.
Yeah, I would have told you that earlier. I didn't realize you were doing the rushing attempts. That's so what I'm thinking is like Chris Olave, longest reception, Najee Harris, rushing attempts, and some of these other plays we're going to go through in a parlay because you can't same game parlay those plays. You can put them with other games. You know what I mean?
So let's do alt rushing yards for him, and let's go with this 80 plus because I like it if it's all right. So that's plus 442. If I go here instead, 70 yards, that's plus 312 for the Steelers to cover 14 and Najee Harris. So that's like if you believe this game script that AG's putting out there that
and the thing is if he gets 70 yards,
they're going to keep it close. They're going to try to limit Pickett's exposure to mistakes. And so that seems to be a path to go, and it's only 2 legs.
And they need to get Najee Harris popped off, man. He hasn't done much since Ben Roethlisberger left. Maybe this new quarterback in town.
And he's a dog too. Like that, he's a dog. Like he's, you know what I'm saying? Like
well, I mean, look, same thing we just talked about in the last game with Alvin Kamara. He's a dog, but his value significantly drops when he doesn't have his quarterback, his experienced veteran quarterback. You know what I mean?
True. True.
Not that Jameis is experienced, obviously now he's a veteran, but he's more of a risk taker. He's going to throw that ball downfield. Andy Dalton's going to dump it off to him. I like him better with Andy Dalton out there. It's the same thing with Najee Harris, not necessarily in a passing game, but I mean, they're just a worse football team in general. And yeah, he hasn't been doing much, so they got to get him going at some point, man. And
all right,
just feeding him at least with the carries. You know what I mean? If he doesn't get the yards, whatever, but he'll get the carries. I'm good with that.
Yeah. So
next game on my slate was the Bears and Vikings.
Oh, you do have Bears Vikings. All right. I was going to ask if we were skipping that one or not, but
there is one I'm skipping though. We'll get to that in a second.
All right, fair enough.
There is one I definitely. We'll talk about it, but I got nothing in this other game coming up. Bears at Vikings though. I do like a couple things in this. Surprisingly, I like Justin Fields over 7.5 rushing attempts at plus 102. I mean, I wouldn't take this minus 115, minus 112, but plus 102, 7.5 rushing attempts for Justin Fields. He's had 11 in the last game, 8, and 7 in the first 3 weeks. So he's hitting right around that mark anyway. And the Vikings are top half of the league in sacks. They're like 13th or 14th in sacks and pressure and whatnot. So they might be getting to him a little bit. And obviously he's capable of getting out of that. And those will be rush attempts right there for us if he runs away from them. So the only mobile quarterback that the Vikings have played so far was Jalen Hurts, and he had 11 carries against them.
There you go.
So and they had a lot of success. So if I'm the Bears OC, I'm game planning that as well. I'm looking at that as a way to get by on them. So 7.5 rushing yards. Rushing attempts. He doesn't have to get any yards for me, man. It could be a 1 yard QB sneak 5 times and then a couple scrambles for 3 yards and we're good. I don't care how much yards he gets. I don't trust him to get me any yards. I don't trust anybody on the Bears to get me any yards unless it's Khalil Herbert or David Montgomery. But the other thing I like, so the Bears, surprisingly, I don't know if it's just who they're playing against or if they're that good. We got to wait and see for those answers, but they're 4th right now in defensive passing yards per game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I kind of want to stay away. Well, I hate going unders, man. I really do. I like going unders in a certain situation where I really like, where it really jumps out at me. Like Deebo Samuel last Monday, under 29.5 rushing yards with Trent Williams out and, all the other dynamics and the Rams, how fast they are on defense. Like that, to me, that was like a no-brainer underplay. But I really hate taking unders unless it jumps out at me like that. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm going to tell you your parlay, your call on the under rushing yards for Deebo and the anytime touchdown combined was like, I was like, all right, man, I guess. And then sure enough, he pops off like a 70-yard reception, but he still, what did he get? Like it was under 20 yards rushing.
He had like 2, I think. I think he had 2 attempts for 2 yards.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Beautiful. And that's exactly what I expected. That's what I said on the show. If he got stuffed on one, they weren't going to go back to it too much because there wasn't much going for it anyway. Like they're definitely going to try it. They have to try it. That's what they do. But it got stuffed the first play, and Wilson one more time.
And Wilson's capable enough that they don't need Deebo to be. Yeah.
Yep. And we'll get into Wilson later too. That's one of my plays later on.
Okay.
But yeah, so I just want to stay away from Vikings passing game in this for that reason. Just because I don't know if the Bears are that good or if they just been playing the Giants, and you know what I mean, which they did last week. So
so you're just staying away from like
just
Justin
because
Jefferson, because it's going to be overinflated, and you rather than choose the under, you're not taking any of that.
Yeah, because they could very well smoke the Bears and hit all the overs. I don't know,
right?
But
yep.
What I like is Dalvin. What I like though is Dalvin Cook over 78.5 rushing yards at minus 113. The Bears are last in rush defensive yards. We saw what Saquon Barkley did. Shout out to my boy Mike Love. He said Saquon Barkley 150 yards rushing in the chat last week. He had 140. We laughed when he said it, but he had 140 on this Bears defense. We know what Dalvin Cook is capable of. They want to get him going. They got him going last week with 90 yards against the Saints. He's hit this in 2 out of 4 games, but last week he had 76 actually. My bad. So he was 3 yards short of covering this last week. So he's 3 yards short of being 3 for 4 on the season.
Nice.
They're 30th in rushing yards per attempt, and if the defense does shut down some of the passing game, they're going to go to the run game, and they're allowing a lot of yards per attempt. I think it was like over 5. So I like Dalvin Cook, 78.5 rushing yards. It's a good spot for the Vikings to really get him going, And I'm also leading a touchdown for Dalvin Cook also. Throw a touchdown in one of your parlays. If you're doing an anytime touchdown parlay like I do every Sunday, throw Dalvin Cook in that. The 62% of the Bears touchdowns that they've allowed have been rushing this year, which is 31st in the league. So They don't allow passing touchdowns. They allow rushing touchdowns mostly.
Let's see. You know what I mean? Let's look at that one. Let's do the scoring. This is not player. TD scorer props. Here we go. Anytime.
Chad doesn't use
anytime minus 120. Yeah, I'm not a FanDuel. I'm not a FanDuel guy. I use DraftKings and BetMGM. Yeah, so I'm but I'm doing this because
playing around. Yep.
I'm doing this because this is where AG found the play. So you're saying Dalvin, so that minus 120. You're saying like as part of a parlay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're throwing down touchdown parlays, I just think Dalvin Cook is a good look because, I said, they're the 31st worst in rushing touchdowns allowed right now, which is significant. It's week 5 now, so there's been enough games. That data is pretty thorough.
But you like these two as official?
In that case.
You like these two as official for this game?
I like the over rushing for sure, and I think he gets the end zone.
Okay. All right.
And then, I think it's worth looking at over 17.5 rushing attempts too. I think he's hit that in 3 out of 4 games. And, why not attack this Bears defense, this rushing defense of the Bears? Yeah. Why not? If I'm the OC, I'm going at him. So I like that too. I think I like Dalvin Cook all around, it sounds like. So, but definitely take his over rushing yards, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. So. All right, so we are up to 16 plays so far in 31 minutes.
Are you keeping a tally?
We are. Yeah, we are averaging a play every 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not bad.
That's funny. I like that you're doing that. That's hilarious.
All right.
So now we got the Texans at the Jaguars.
All right, let's do it. Jaguars coming off of a disappointing loss.
I don't know if you guys can see here. Make me bigger real quick, Chad.
Pause.
Oh yeah, sheesh.
But wow. All right, my guys. All right, so
do your best.
It's your full
This is my notes for the Texans at the Jags right here.
Oh my god!
As you can see,
0.
I went through. I started looking at some plays, and nope. That was not it.
Are we skipping this one?
We can look through right now live, but I was looking through last night, and I was like.
Let's come back to it.
I ain't digging in this one.
Yeah. No, let's get to.
I just don't know what's gonna happen, man.
Let's keep our rapid fire going. Let's get to a game that you already got notes for, and then we'll come back to that one later.
Dolphins Jets.
Yeah, Dolphins Jets. Let's see it.
Garrett Wilson.
No Tua.
Garrett Wilson is the play, in my opinion.
All right, what are we looking at?
They got to get him back on track after last week. Only 2 catches for 41 yards, but. He only had 2 catches, and he had 41 yards. His over-under is set at 45.5 right now.
Yeah.
To me, that's a play right there. It only took him 2 yards to get just about there last week. That was the first game with Zach Wilson, but it was against this Steelers pass defense. Now, they are 21st in pass defense rushing yards, like I mentioned earlier, but they got some dogs back there in that secondary that can, that are doing their thing. Minka's back there.
Mm-hmm.
They have the opportunity to shut down a quarterback who's making his debut for the season. You know what I mean?
Right,
with Zach Wilson last week. So I think Zach Wilson finds Garrett Wilson. I think this Wilson tandem is going to be huge in New York for the next coming years. But Miami, similar to the Ravens, they're second to last. They're 31st in passing yards on defense. So, why not take him? He's hit this in 3 out of 4. Like I said, he missed last week with only 2 catches, but he was 6 yards away with 2 catches.
Right.
They're going to get him to rock, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think they get him to rock.
What else you got?
I also like him over 19.5 longest reception.
All right.
He's hit at least 19 in every game. The game that he hit 19 was his first game of his career. Similar to Chris Olave here. 2 rookie wide receivers, big play receivers that can break tackles. They get shifty once they get the ball. And their longest reception props are set pretty low, in my opinion. He's hit way higher than 19 in 3 games, and then he hit 19 in his first game, his first ever career game. So he's right around there. There's a potential for him to break shit. And against this Dolphins defense, you're not the worst passing defense in the league because you just allow bombs all the time. Like I said about the other game. You're 31st because you can't tackle after people catch the rock.
Right.
So give me a Garrett Wilson crossing route for 10 yards that he takes another 15 and we hit this prop.
Easy. Yep.
That's what I like.
All right. What else you got for this one?
I don't have anything else in that game. It's a pretty ugly game in my opinion. Yeah, it's
All
a
right.
pretty ugly
No,
game in my opinion. What do you think?
I'm
Like, I feel like we've been skipping out on like picking sides and stuff. We've been forgetting to think about
yeah, but
what
this isn't
we
one of the
think about the
ones.
games
This isn't one
actually.
of the
But
ones where I really like. But I will say, like, so
yeah,
I have this play, and I'm gonna build this right now on screen. All right, so everybody can kind of see this. So this is, let me remove all this stuff. So this is something I put together on the air with John Ryan and Jesse Shule and Jordan. I can't remember his last name. Capozzi. That's it. On John's show. So I have every home dog, because there are some that I could really make. Like, I can make a case for the Jets winning this game today against the Dolphins at home as a 3.5 point dog. I can definitely make a case for Carson Wentz getting it together and hitting those receivers to make
I'm
plays
playing
here.
that.
Yeah, I can see
got
Cleveland.
the Commanders money line.
I can see Cleveland.
Yes,
and the Chargers here. Okay, so I can see Carolina beating the 49ers at home. Look at the 49ers. Look at the
that's the first one where I was like,
okay,
I don't know.
All right. Okay, you say
ahead,
that. You say that. Look at how San Francisco has played on the road versus how they've played at home. Don't let those two big home wins take your eyes off of how crappy they play on the road. They play like trash. They played. They lost to the Bears.
They lost to the fucking Bears.
Week 1.
Yes.
Week 1 on the road, and they lost to Denver when Jimmy G stepped out of the back of the end zone in week 3 on the road as well. So then you go here. We got the Cardinals against the Eagles, also home dogs, and we talked about it. Like, this is one of the ones where we see as a potential. You're off screen, by the way. You may been doing that on purpose. I don't know. But anyway, so those are the ones I'm looking at. Those, it's 5 legs. Okay. So that 5-leg parlay is plus 22.35. All right. That's just to cover.
These are spreads. I was about to say
that's just for those teams to cover. Those are just covers. Now, let's take that same group of teams.
This is one where you can round robin it.
Clear it. Let's clear. I did. I did a full $5 parlay to win $523. Okay, and then I did a round robin where it's like $20 total. $2 a play for 4 out of 5. Now I know that's you're getting, but it gets really expensive when you go doing 3. And at that point,
100%.
At that point, 100%. I might as well just play straights. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. I agree.
Just leave it at,
it's
leave it at that.
But
and I am
the reason I said
straight.
that is because like it is good looks. Like you make good points for all of those games. I tend to agree with most of those, but
this one,
you got to leave yourself some room for error. You know what I mean?
They're 1.5 point dogs, and it's still minus money. Oh shoot, it's still minus money on the money line, but I'm still playing it because I'm taking all these. I'm taking every one of these dogs. So now a 5-leg parlay. There it is. It's 10-1. So that's why I was saying when I did it on DraftKings yesterday, it was $5 wins me $523 if this hits.
Right.
And so
straight up,
talking about our little
all straight up, right? For that
great
one?
value,
for 500,
all straight up money line bets. So, and you maybe even could, you're probably close enough with the Browns and the Commanders games that you could make them spreads. That way, you give yourself a little bit of, because you're not losing that much, and then that gives you a little bit more leeway. You give yourself a couple of points, to where you don't have to win it straight up. You can just. If it goes to overtime and it ends in a tie, you're still good. If they lose by 1, you're still good, So, but anyway, it's just, that's one that I saw where I was like, this is one of those weeks where I can make a case for all of these road dogs that are showing up on this board this week where I'm like, you know what? I think they're actually, if the Saints are favored by 5.5 at home, why are the Jets 3.5 point dogs at home against the Dolphins?
You
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some of this stuff doesn't make sense. So that's why I just looked at it and I was like,
the Jets are in a good spot, man. I think they
they
can definitely pull this one off. All those teams you mentioned are in good spots. That's what makes it interesting. And for 5 to win 530 on the straight up, and then obviously you're going to get less value on the covers, but it's still not a bad bet. Especially if you round robin it, put a little money up on it. give yourself some wiggle room where you can miss one or two of them.
Exactly.
Because I mean,
yeah, you could tease all of these however you want to make that number fit, and you're still going to get 5-6 to 1 odds on.
Those
are
some good spots though. Either way, yeah, definitely.
Exactly. So
you want to get into Falcons Bucks?
Yeah, Falcons Bucks. So you asked me about if I had any sides, and we hadn't gotten into that, and I was like, I was waiting for that. I'm ready.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I brought
about
to
it.
the
I was
table
like,
today.
we're kind of skipping through these. But, yeah. So I mean, we talked about this game earlier in the week also.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that Chad mentioned was Leonard Fournette. Now you want to just say your point again about that? Like, I know you probably had more than I can just repeat because it was your thought. So.
Oh, well, just when I think they wanted to use Fournette, but the game plan just kind of got away from them. And
totally,
if they're going to win
3
this
carries,
game,
come on,
if they're going to win this game against against the Falcons, they're going to have to pound the rock and keep that lead intact. And I could totally see this 64.5 I think is nice money here. And you could even tease it down a little bit. But what was the stat? They're 2-0 when he has 20 plus carries.
Fournette's rushing attempts are set at 15.5 rush attempts right now, over under.
Mm-hmm.
I'm slamming the over. And if it doesn't hit, don't look at me. Look at the offensive coordinator of the Buccaneers, because he's the one who doesn't want to
win.
He doesn't want to win. He doesn't want us to win. He doesn't want you to win.
He and Tom Brady are going to be fighting in the locker room after the game.
Check it. The over/under is 15.5 rushing attempts for Leonard Fournette. The Bucs are 2-2 right now. 2 wins, 2 losses. In 2 wins, he had 21 attempts and 24 attempts. In 2 losses, he had 12 attempts and 3 attempts. Need I say more?
No, you need not. You need not.
If they don't go to Leonard Fournette for at least 16 rushing attempts, if they don't go for him for 20 rushing attempts, they don't want to win. They're point shaving or something. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
but I can't help
such a weapon. Because he's such a weapon out of the backfield, I actually like this as well. But I would probably look at some alts for that man. See, this is where I'm coming in here and I'm like, I don't know how to run this damn thing. Yeah. But anyway, I would look for some alts, maybe tease this down. But I like this number too. I think this is good. I think he's good to possibly eclipse 100 yards. And the other thing is too, with no Cordell Patterson, the Falcons are not that ball control offense that they have tended to be. And you're going to put a lot of trust in Marcus Mariota. And I think that Tampa Bay defense, after they got just abused last week by Patrick Mahomes, I think this is a week for them to come out and really take out some of their frustration, but also like demonstrate to themselves and to everyone else that they're not the pushover that they seem to be in that game. Yeah,
no, I agree. Yeah, I mean, they need to get him the rock point blank. You know what I mean? There's really nothing else to say. The proof is right there in those numbers.
Yeah, the official play though, I think AG is onto it. Is sometimes the discretion is the better part of valor, and the better part of valor here, the discreet play, is to go with the safe, the one that makes the most sense, and that is over 15.5 attempts for Leonard Fournette. Because
and he can get the yards with it. If they give him 20 attempts, he's gonna get the yards.
Right,
but
but this is the safer one.
Yeah. Because I mean, he could get fucking six rushes for 1 yard to start the game or something. Yeah, I mean, last week he had what, three carries for negative 3 yards. They just went away from him. I mean, you can't do that against the Chiefs. You gotta, similar to what we said about Najee Harris getting the rock today against the Bills, man. You got to keep the ball out of the offense's hands, and you got to keep the defense off the field, let them rest and stuff. You got to give them the rock. It's against the Chiefs, Bills, teams like that. I don't know why they got away from it, but they better get back to it today. That's all I'm saying.
Well, fumbling the opening kickoff doesn't help, as my beloved
obviously.
LSU Tigers found out yesterday. You can't fumble the kickoff and the opening kickoff and give up a touchdown in 10 seconds later and expect to win a game. And you're going to be fighting an uphill battle.
Next, the other play I have on this, and this one, I love it. I love it just because it's juicy right here. Tom Brady over 2.5 touchdowns passing for plus 168. Give me that any day. Any Sunday of the year. Give me that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Give
All
me
right.
that any Sunday of the year. I mean, the Falcons are a quarterback's best dream in terms of touchdowns. They allow 63% of their touchdowns are through the air that they allow. Jacoby Brissett is the outlier here. He had 0 touchdowns, but last week against the Falcons, but he's the outlier. Geno Smith put up 2, Matt Stafford put up 3, and Jameis Winston put up 2. You're telling me Brady can't put up 3? If these guys are putting up 2, and
right,
you know,
and it's not in Atlanta. That's the other thing too. This is a home game at Raymond James. So
and he's coming off a 3-touchdown game. He just had 3 touchdowns last week. Why are they giving me plus 168? Right. I mean, it's interesting because it's like you know they might have juiced that up to tempt me into it, but they got me on this bait because that looks good, man. I'll take that any day. Plus 168 for 2.5 touchdowns for Tom Brady. And you know, obviously, what we talked about, you know. When we talked about this game also, Brady's going through it right now. His focus is going to be on top notch. Right. He's got some anger to get out. He's going to be slinging that cheese. I think he hits this. He hit it last week against the Chiefs, so he can definitely hit it against the Falcons.
So
you won't be able to parlay it.
Can't parlay that either.
It's the same game. The same game parlay. The only same game parlay plays on FanDuel that they let you. This is
you have to go into that.
I go to other books to do some of these parlays and stuff like that. But I just use FanDuel to.
I'm used to DraftKings. I can do all kind of stuff together. So
I use FanDuel to find the lines because it's easy to navigate, and I'm banned off DraftKings. So.
Oh yeah, well that,
so
that hurts.
I have to go FanDuel.
Yeah,
but I mean, you can go to Bet365 and play all these things together. So
right. Okay.
You know, it is what it is. But
so everybody knows we are at 26 plays in 46 minutes. So show me somewhere else where you get that kind of rapid fire action. All right, let's go. Let's continue. What's our next game?
We got Detroit at the Pats, right? Is that next up on you?
Yeah, I just didn't know if I'm just making sure you got plays.
Oh no, I'm just looking at the screen. I'm going off that.
Oh no, I know, but I just if it's a game you got a blank space for, then skip it.
No, that was only the Texans at the Jags.
Okay,
I mean, I'll probably end up playing like something like Damian Pierce has been consistent for that game and stuff like that. But I mean, there was just nothing that jumped out real quick when I looked through, and I was like, all right, I'm skipping this one.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that later. Detroit at Patriots, running backs.
All right,
let's go to the rushing game.
On it.
Because the Lions are the worst rush defense in the league, and the Pats are sitting around like 10th in the league, give or take, for rushing offense. The Pats are in the bottom 6 to 8, 6 to 9, give or take, depending on what stat you're looking at in rushing defense. And the Lions are the best rushing offense in the league. Or they're 6th best in yards, but they're first in yards per attempt. So, and then New England is 29th in yards per attempt defensively. So this is a running backs matchup right here, especially with the Patriots coming in with a third-string quarterback. The Lions have some guys out. Oh, you know what? I need you to look up for me real quick. Is a non-Ross St. Brown status? Is he still game time decision, or did they update him or anything? Look it up for me real quick.
Let me look,
because that's key. Because if he's out and some of the other Lions are out on offense, they're going to run the ball. And I like Jamal Williams here because his over-under is 66.5 rushing yards, and his over-under on carries is 16.5 attempts. He's cashed both in the last 2 games. Plus, we got this matchup that I just laid out for you guys with the Patriots defense.
It might still be early. It might still be early.
No, he was a game
active, inactive. No, I know, but I'm saying inactive.
He's a game time.
Right, so we're not going to find out.
I'm saying
we're not going to find out until an hour from now. So.
Yeah, I was asking if they updated that at all, if they changed it to game time or playing or whatever. But yeah, so Jamal Williams has cashed both of his lines, his rushing yards and rushing attempts lines in the last 2 games. Plus this matchup with the Pats, like I just said, and DeAndre Swift is out, plus the other weapons potentially out. So we got to wait on and see about Amon-Ra St. Brown because that's a big factor here. But if he's out, I mean, I think they definitely feed Jamal Williams and get him going. And with DeAndre Swift out, he's the guy. So I like his plays there against this Pats defense because the Pats rushing defense has been terrible. Like they're bad, and so are the Lions. Yeah. But the problem with the Patriots is you can't play it the same way because they got a 2-back backfield. If DeAndre Swift was playing today, I would have to second guess Jamal Williams or DeAndre Swift, but he's not. So I'm going Jamal Williams for sure. Those are the plays I really like. So then you're looking at Damien Harris and Ramondre Stevenson against a very bad Lions rushing defense, but who's going to get most of the carries? If you go through the Patriots games, they're flip-flopped. One game, Damien Harris gets 12 carries for 60 yards and Stevenson gets 7 for 50. And then the next game, it's the opposite. So
Right.
I don't know where to call any of these guys in terms of that. I mean, pick one and go, because one of them is going to go off against the Lions. Pick one and go. But I don't know who to tell you to pick.
So we got our
I don't know
alts.
who I'm going to pick.
Yeah, we got our alts pulled up here. So I don't know if any of those look appealing, but because I think you do have to just kind of take a pick, and it's kind of a coin flip. But I do like the Damien Harris play just by itself, because then you're not having to try to pick and choose. You just it's kind of their option, you know.
Well, I'm saying he might not get the carries though. It might be Stevenson today.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's why it's tough. They flip flop every game. If you go through the Patriots game logs, they flip flop every time.
All right. So what's our play here?
I like Jamal Williams for sure. I like
Jamal Williams. All right.
But
so just Jamal Williams.
Yeah, I like. I like one of these
yards.
guys from the Patriots. Yeah, one of these guys from the Patriots is going to get it, but I don't know who. So you got to pick one and go with that. I can't tell you who, because I don't know who I'm going to pick either. But if you want to play that, the Lions rushing defense is terrible. So you know, you can't play both and hedge yourself or something, because one of them's not going to get it. You know.
Right.
Or maybe they both go off. I don't know, but yeah, I would be careful with that. Is all I'm saying. I love Jamal Williams for sure.
All right. So, and you like him yards or attempts or both?
I like both. I'm not, I don't know which one I like more. I might not play both, but I like both. He cashed both in the last two. DeAndre Swift is out. This matchup versus the Patriots is a really good spot for him.
Yeah.
Other guys might be out. But wait on, Anand St. Brown, because if he's in, they'll pass a little more, I think, obviously, because you want to use him. But if he's out, or even just playing but very, very limited or something, Jamal Williams will probably be the guy. Yeah, I mean, you could probably pick him for a touchdown too. I wouldn't mind throwing him in for a touchdown. I didn't give many touchdown thoughts here, but we could do that as we circle back around at the end.
Well, let's just look at it. Jamal Williams plus 125 for any time.
Yeah, see, that's good value right there. I'll take that.
Let me see if I can find. I'm going to see if I can find in a different spot, because they have Amon St. Ra is still showing up as plus 200, which, I mean, it doesn't mean anything, because that's just like a hedge where, like, if he's inactive, it'll just void. So it doesn't necessarily mean that he's slated to play. Let's see what is.
Yeah, because
it says he's been ruled out.
He has. Okay, so Jamal Williams looks even better now. The run game. I mean, they're in a perfect spot. If the offensive coordinator doesn't attack this Patriots rush defense, I don't know what he's doing. So, especially with all these.
Wait. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. My apologies. Sorry, folks.
Were you looking at his brother?
That was last week.
I thought you were looking at his brother or something.
No. Well, I'm just like, it's just really frustrating. Like when you start pulling up searches for stuff, you just Google something and like you see the thing, and it's like the I'm expecting
from the week before,
to be the most recent stuff, and it's like there's no dates on these things, and so it's like, man, if you could just show me the published date, that would be really, really helpful. It's not until I open the article and then I see like, oh no, it's September 30th. So anyway, My apologies, folks. Let's keep it moving.
Go ahead. Titans Commanders next.
Yeah. So
unless you got more for this game.
No, let's go with that Titans Commanders game, because I think this is one of those that's kind of sneaky. I think the Commanders are like a sneaky better team than people think they are, and
they're in the perfect spot in this game too.
And Tennessee is getting that hype now, because they've knocked off a couple of teams that people didn't think they had any business beating. Yeah, so
the Colts, the fabulous Colts, fabulous display of football Thursday night.
Yes,
sure. Or whatever you call that, whatever it was.
But yeah, so let's dig into this one. What you got props wise on this one?
I got the Commanders money line before props, just so you know. I'm just throwing that out there. They are in a great spot. I think they're gonna torch this Titans defense. Now I don't know if they're gonna blow them out, but because the Titans offense might very well torch them also. But I think they get torched on defense. My favorite prop here is Carson Wentz over 1.5 touchdowns passing at plus 150. Now, he bit me in the ass a couple weeks ago on this exact play where he got one and they just didn't throw another touchdown. I don't think they scored another touchdown that day. It was just a bad game, bad spot. It was a bad read on my part. This one, I love it. He's only hit this in 2 out of 4. Like obviously, but Wentz is Wentzing. This is how he does it. He's inconsistent. He had 2 pretty good games to start the season and then 2 bad games. So what does that tell you? He's up for a good game. And he hit this in 2 out of 4. And in those 2, he hit 3 touchdowns, not just 2. So once he gets 2, he gets a third. Like he gets that insurance touchdown anyway. And he's had 300 plus yards in both of those games also that he's been playing well. So I like him for his yards also. I like both of these. His yards is at
229
right now.
229.
I like that too. Because he's going over 303 touchdowns in his 2 good games. And this is a very, 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 very bad defense right here. So let's talk about the touchdowns part first. 83% of the touchdowns that the Titans have allowed this season have been passing touchdowns. 83%. If they're allowing touchdowns, it's a pass. The Washington Commanders, they don't like to run the ball when they're like down in the goal. Antonio Gibson isn't a goal line running back. They're not giving it to McKissick at the goal line. They're not, Brian Robinson's not back yet. He's active now. He's activated on the roster, but he's not playing. Right? I don't think so. If he is, I don't think he's playing. But so 83% of the passes of the touchdowns that they've allowed have been passes.
Yeah.
Wentz only needs to get 2. I think the Commanders get 2 touchdowns today. Give me Wentz over 1.5 touchdowns at plus 150. Sure.
Yeah, and at an over-under of 42.5, it implies like a 22-20 score.
Yeah.
And so, that implies 3 touchdowns or at least 2 touchdowns for Washington. And your odds are that, that those are most likely both going to be passing touchdowns. So
exactly. I should look up? I should look up what percentage of touchdowns of theirs are passing. Actually, I should look at that real quick. Give me 1 second. But while I'm doing that, for the yards play, over 229.5 yards also is that.
Yeah, keep going. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull up the other thing. So they have.
Oh, I was just searching it. So
far,
you got it?
8 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns for Washington on the season.
Yeah, see.
So they're at 80% as well. So the numbers are pretty good in that favor. Both of those to Aaron Gibson,
which is 5th in the league.
So, yeah,
and that's 5th. That's 5th in the league. So
there you go.
So I like that a lot. Definitely. See, there you go. You made it even better right there live. But then getting into the yards, the Titans are also 28th in passing defense. For yards in terms of yards, and they're 30th in yards per pass attempt on defense. So they're allowing they're the 3rd most yards in the league per pass attempt, and Washington throws the ball the 3rd most in the league. They're 3rd in pass attempts. They throw the rock. They're going to sling it, and the Titans can't stop it. So I like Wentz here. Jahan Dotson is out, but he's still got Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel. That's why this team is such a sneaky good team, man. If they can block for Wentz and he doesn't hold the ball for this entire episode, then we're good. You know what I mean? Or they're a good team. They have weapons. They have guys to go to. Antonio Gibson out of the backfield. Wentz has all the help except for on that line. The only pushback here, like I said, the line, the Titans have a pretty solid pass rush. So if they get to him and disrupt him, badly, these props probably won't hit. But 229 is a little low, and 2 touchdowns is low in this matchup is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this too, and it's funny. So these 2 teams, Washington averaging 18.3 points per game, Tennessee 18.8. Washington's allowing 26.8 and Tennessee's allowing 25.3. So it's like the resistible force against the movable object. Yeah. They're both, it's like which one of these wants to lose this game the most, and that's going to be by giving up busted plays, doing some. I think that the potential exists for these teams to have this like vacillation between 3 and outs and quick strike, long scoring drives, and the defenses could be on the field, quite a bit. So this could be one of those. I would also look at maybe it being a little ugly early and smashing the over when the over comes down a little bit, or when you get better money on this 42.5. Or it could, if it goes the opposite direction, if they come out firing hot. I think either way, in game, you play, you fade the momentum that happens early. So whatever the score is at the end of the first quarter, if it's under 10 points, I'm looking for the over. If it's pushing 20, I'm looking for the under. So it depends on how quickly they come out and start firing, because they both have shown that they can not stop people, but they also cannot score. So it's like, which one of these is going to win this battle? Which one of them wants to give up touchdowns the most?
Yeah, and I mean my plays are Carson Wentz, but that obviously means that the receivers are going to have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely take a look at Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, stuff like that as well. I mean, those are always going to be good plays in this spot against this Titans pass defense. I love it. I mean, one of them is going to score a touchdown.
Yeah, plus 220 and plus 270 for those two guys.
See,
so you
at least one of them.
You could hit both of those, and you're going to at least
if you hit both,
get money back, and then if you hit both of them, you're in really good shape.
What's both of those in a parlay by itself? Just those two.
Let me pull that up. I'm about to hang on. Let me clear this. Let me do that. That is 10-1 plus 1,071. So that's good money. That's $10 to win you 100. If you bet that,
I mean, now I'm not saying both of them are going to score, because it's,
well, that's why I was saying you can play them straights. Yeah,
exactly.
You can play them straights.
That's what I would do.
Play them straights and then drop $1 or $10 on the money line. I mean, on the parlay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So moving right along, we are at 30 plays in an hour. So we slowed down a little bit there because we had a lot to talk about, but not as many plays. It was just
we're still sitting at 2 a minute.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
All right.
We got the Chargers at the Browns now. These 4 o'clock game, or this is the last 1 o'clock game. But I ran out of time, so I got one play here, but we can kind of work through thoughts as we go for the next couple games. But I like Eckler for over 4.5 catches today.
Okay.
He's hit that in 3 out of 4. The only miss was week 1, and it was 1. I mean, and it was 4. He had 4 catches, so he missed it by 1. So yeah, I mean, I like Austin Eckler here. He's always a good look. He had a lot of success last week. I think the Chargers should keep going to that.
We know he's not going to run the ball. They're just going to throw the ball.
Exactly. They run the ball like 30th worst, rushing attempts per game or whatever. They're terrible. They don't want to run the ball.
Yeah.
But I love him for catches. He's on my fantasy team. He had a day for me last week. He's riding hot. I like him against this Browns team. Especially with, the Browns have a decent pass rush. So, dump offs and stuff like that.
Right.
And they're already going to run at least 3 designed plays for him. So then you're looking at, 2 other dump offs or routes where he gets open, or he's the first, second, third read. So I like that 4.5. Anything jumping out to you if you look through, or do you think anything on any angles on this?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm always looking here. I'm always looking for this guy.
I'm
looking for this.
Oh, that's the other thing I wrote down. Actually, I wrote down Nick Chubb.
I'm always looking at Nick Chubb. No matter what's going on.
That's literally all I wrote was Nick Chubb.
Anytime touchdown, Nick Chubb. Like I'm, you know what I mean. I'm like looking at all these.
Oh, it's one of those Cooper Kupp anytime touchdowns.
Right.
Matt Ryan anytime interception. It's one of those plays where we're not telling you anything you didn't know already before you came here, but why not? Why not take it?
So let me,
especially in a parlay or something.
Yeah. So let me go official on this. If I'm picking one official play for this, what I'm going to hit, is I feel less confident with this 17.5 with the 91.5. I do think Cleveland stands a really good chance to win this game, and the 1.5 point dog that they are at home, I think is very much in play. I think the odds are heavily in favor of them winning this game. It's not guaranteed, obviously, but I think that Nick Chubb anytime touchdown is probably the play I'm most willing to go after, because the other ones, I mean, we're not talking about any kind of what are we looking at? Minus 128 for Eckler, minus 110 for Chubb for the 91.5, minus 122 for the 17.5. If he falls short on both of these, but he gets that punch, then I'm good. So I'm going touchdown, anytime touchdown on Nick Chubb at minus 125 as my official if I'm putting one in. So yeah. And I'm also we already talked about it. I'm already on the Browns for this game straight up. So and against the spread. So
what's the over under at right now?
I
forgot to look earlier.
Yeah, it's 47.5. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, that could go over, man. It's a little high, but that could go over for sure.
Yeah, I think that's another one. I think that's another one where, and I thank God for John Ryan, because I really like this idea of having an idea of where you think it's going to go, and then watching and almost hoping for the opposite to happen early, so that you can get better value for your bet. Because I have had that happen so many times. That Florida Tennessee game was a perfect example of it, and I've had it in a few other games where you look at it early and it's like, all right, I'm hammering. Now every now and then it's a
winning strategy.
Every now and then you get killed. Like the other night, the Thursday night game that did not work out. Because
you took the over after a while, right?
I took the over, and then I took it again, late in the first half, and it just
once you start chasing, you're done.
I only did it twice, because it wasn't so much a chase as it was like, okay, I just nibbled early, but then it's still pushing in that direction. Let me hit it again.
Better value,
I got better value, and I hit it again, and I just kind of doubled down. But then it was like, let's let it ride, and it didn't work out. But it's actually more rare than what I see it happening. I see it happening a lot more often than it doesn't, where the game flow will change on a dime, and you just need to be in a position to be ready to seize that momentum and take advantage of it. Because what happens is there are a lot of people who are doing the opposite. They're chasing in the opposite direction. The game starts off slow, and so they're like, oh, let me hit the under. And I'm like, okay, you're getting the worst money possible right now for that bet. So I tend to go contrarian when it comes to that. So anyway, all right, so let's move on to this the afternoon games. Our first 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock Central Time for me anyway, and 4 o'clock local time for Carolina and San Francisco. What are we looking at for this one? What you got? I'm sure you got some Deebo Samuel and some Jeff Wilson in there.
I don't actually. Well, I was going to bring them up and talk about them, but just not as my top spots here.
All right.
I love Christian McCaffrey as my number one here.
Okay.
Over 4.5 catches.
All right. Let's do this.
I think Baker Mayfield finally figured out that he's got like a better version of Kareem Hunt in that backfield.
No joke, man. No joke.
And because he didn't know for the first couple weeks. Apparently, Christian McCaffrey had 4 catches week 1, 4 catches week 2, 2 catches week 3, and then last week 9 catches out of nowhere.
He didn't know that he had one of the best athletes in NFL football on his roster.
Yeah, exactly. And he's healthy right now. I like this. So obviously, he only hit this last week. This isn't one where his trends are like looking good because he's hitting left and right.
Right.
But it's one of those where like last week he finally got 9 and he hit this by 4 extra. Baker Mayfield figured it out, I think. If he goes away from that now, especially against this 49ers defense, where your best bet is a little dump off and let Christian McCaffrey try to get some yards for you or some screenplays against that pass rush, I think they design at least 3 or 4 for him. I mean, it's a no-brainer to design at least 3 or 4 for him. And you get a couple other dump offs, you're good. We're locked this in. So I love that. Another
Right.
play that I wanted to mention was George Kittle for 3.5 catches, over 3.5 catches, only
Okay.
because it's at plus 110. He hasn't been too exciting in the passing game. There's jokes all over Twitter about how he's the one of the most dominant tight ends in the game, but the only downside is he's now playing left tackle for the 49ers because they got him in blocking because Trent Williams is out
Trent
now,
Williams,
and
yeah.
so
That's a shame.
it's a riskier play. It's a riskier play. It's not one of my locks or anything by any means. I'm not saying go out and take this with all your money and everything. But at plus 110 for 4 catches for George Kittle, I mean, it's solid value there for George Kittle. He had 4 in the first game he came back in, and then he had 2 last week. But plus money for 4 catches on George Kittle, man. Why not? You know?
Yeah. So it's good that you said that too about the Williams injury, because the easy play or the easy statement to make, because I naturally just looking at it, it's like, okay, he's bound to regress to his stud status, and we're gonna he's gonna get his, and they're gonna find a way to work him into the game plan. But yeah, part of the game plan is like you got to chip on that left side because you've got a stud who you're missing, and you've got to keep Garoppolo upright. Otherwise, you don't have a chance, and you still got some really good weapons, some really good athletes.
Where you don't need Kittle.
So you don't need Kittle. So they could very easily, just take him out of the passing game willfully. And he's not going to be that mainstay that he has been, where, this number would be 4.5 most likely, or maybe even 5.
Exactly. That's what it was, last year and years past. So
right.
Yes, exactly.
So that's a good point.
I agree.
But I'm with you. Like at plus 110, I like this play because even with that, like I would start, if they're smart, what they should do is they should start designing some quick chips. Just have him quickly chip
and roll.
Then roll.
Yeah.
And that way you get kind of the best of both. And it has to be designed where it's quick, but you've got to get him. You got to start letting that dude do.
Either a chip
Kittle
curl
things.
Or chip flat, chip curl. You're good. You know what I mean? I like that thought. I mean, the Panthers defense is solid, man. They're not bad. This team, the Panthers team, is not as bad as they look. I think that Baker makes them look this bad. Now, I have always said Baker's not a good NFL quarterback. So, I've been right so far, so I don't see him changing that up. But if he's a smart NFL quarterback, he'll get the rock to Christian McCaffrey. That's our lock of this game. Don't go put George Kittle in your parlay. He's gonna kill you maybe. But at plus 110, it's good value for a straight bet if you want to throw somebody on it.
No, for sure. All right, so otherwise, we're done with that game. I like Carolina plus 6.5.
I like the 49ers
I like the money line. I know you do, but I'm just telling you. Look at let's go. Let me pull this up real quick. Hang on,
pull it up.
Let me pull this up. So the 49ers. Here's the 49ers results so far this year: 27-7 at home against Seattle, 24-9 at home against the Rams, 10-19 against Chicago on the road, 10-11 at Denver.
The only thing.
They're playing at Carolina.
Can we count the Bears game against them? That was the Trey Lance era. I mean, and that game was shit.
I know,
but the point I'm getting at is
the
Jimmy
game
G
against Denver. Jimmy G in Denver too.
He was terrible. Yes, he was terrible. But his oxygen was all fucked up in Denver. Carolina's beautiful weather. They're gonna be all right.
You're making all these excuses.
I'm
making all these excuses for this man.
But seriously, with week 1, on a serious note, this is Jimmy G's team now.
I got you.
Week 1.
No,
so
I feel you.
I do want to push back on that, like on a serious note. But I mean, I'm joking about the mile high and everything. But that game was ugly anyway. But
and then let's look at Carolina as well, because Carolina, I think, has been a similar sort of Jekyll and Hyde. So they lost a real close game week 1 against Cleveland at home. Then they lost to the Giants on the road, but that was a close game as well. And like all of these games that they've played are not bad. They beat the Saints. The Saints came back and backdoored a touchdown, but Carolina was in control of that game from start to finish.
Yeah.
100%. And then Arizona last week, they lost, but I think, Kyler Murray really kind of got into his bag last week and was doing his thing. So I don't know that you have that same sort of matchup here with Jimmy G and how he's been playing on the road. So I think I'm not taking a side on this game except in that parlay that I talked about, where I'm liking all these home dogs that are, especially their significant dogs. So I get it that you like San Francisco in this game, but I'm making the case that I could see a path to Carolina very easily, controlling this game if they do the things that, and like you said, if Baker Mayfield has realized that, Christian McCaffrey exists, holy cow! Like,
and he's a pretty damn good football player.
It's a whole new world for them. So
I just don't think they have I just don't think that offense is capable of keeping up. Not that the 49ers are going to go put up 45 on
keep it up with 10 points. The 49ers haven't scored.
Saying that.
The 49ers haven't. The 49ers have scored 20 total points on the road so far. And I know it's not the same. I know it's not exactly the same environments, but they have scored 20 total points on the road this year.
I'm with you. I hear you.
Keep up with what?
That's why I stopped in the middle of that sentence, because I realized that what I was saying was not going to make sense, because that was the wrong wording. You're going to get us canceled, bro. Chill out. Don't use that word. But yeah, man, I used the wrong wording. I probably shouldn't say keep up with the 49ers. I just think they won't be able to do anything against the 49ers defense. And Jimmy G will be able to at least put the ball in the end zone a couple times. Or maybe Debo will do it all by himself again. So it's not a bad look. It's not a bad idea to take Debo for another anytime touchdown. He got going again last week. So
yep. They've scored.
I don't want to be greedy and take Debo's props all over again, because I was on the money with Debo's game last week. So that's why I kind of stayed away.
Let's look at that one before we move on to the Cardinals Eagles game. Let's look at Debo anytime, because I'm sure it's probably slightly plus money. Plus 105. There you go.
Jeff Wilson's a good look too. Obviously.
Yeah, minus 105.
Let's look at Jeff Wilson's lines all through. Let's look at the longest rush.
Minus 105 yards for a touchdown, and then let's look at rushing props. Let's go to 69.5 minus 110. Rush attempts, we're at 17.5 over for minus 120, and then his longest rush. Excuse me. He is not listed. They only have Christian McCaffrey as the longest rush listing.
He's got to be listed somewhere though, man, because he has some long rushes sometimes. Where the fuck? He's got to be listed somewhere. Hold on, let me see. But keep talking though. But I'm just gonna see if he's on Bet 365 real quick.
Well, I was gonna see if he's on FanDuel here, but they usually don't.
Because I think he breaks some plays, man. If they set his longest rush at if they set it at something, that we can grab, I wouldn't mind doing that. If it's like 15, 16, 17, 20, you can break one, depending on what number they give us. Let me check this out real quick.
Longest rush, Jeff Wilson, 15.5 on DraftKings.
See? Yeah, I'll take that.
Minus 120. Minus 120 though? Minus 120?
Well,
that's all.
Yeah. That's
you know what I'm saying?
Bad value.
That's like
you need a lot. You need a 16-yard rush there.
Yeah, it's got to be damn near guaranteed. But that's I don't know. We'll see. All right, so let's move on to the Eagles.
It's minus 115 at Bet 365. So there's a perfect example of why you want to shop around. At least that's a little bit better.
Still not worth it.
Maybe in like a little simple parlay or a round robin or something. It's no longer worth it as a straight, but it's a nice little builder if you if you're the type of better that plays a couple different parlays with like 3 picks, it could be one to think about putting in there, because I think he probably will hit it, but it's just the fact that he might not for that value. It's no bueno. So
So before we move on to this what used to be an NFC East, an NFC East matchup before the Cardinals moved to the West Division. Shout out to another NFC East team, the Giants. They are actually making a game of this. We're nearing the end of the third quarter. Yeah, they just went to the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter about to start, and the Giants are driving down 7. Green Bay's favored by 8 in that game. Remember I told y'all, I don't mess with these London games, because if you think you know what's going to happen in these games, you're crazy because
right.
it's a whole it's just so weird. So I would hate to and you probably know what this feels like. You know when you go into one of those games and you just like something doesn't feel natural. And you're like walking, you're trying to warm up and you're trying to like get into your game mode, but like something just isn't right. Like it's just something's off.
It's like I probably haven't had that experience in football games through high school and college football, but because I mean I feel like in that sense, one, I wasn't traveling too far for football games and stuff like that ever. But I mean, a football field is a football field when you're in like your own state and environment in your own country and stuff like that.
Right.
But in basketball, that happens quite often, really, because
gyms,
you can
like
pull up at a random gym, and then the gym is just all, or like you'll pull up at those gyms where there's this much space between the line and the fans, or you'll pull up at a gym that the stands are only on the two sides and you got a wall behind the backboard, or you got a student section behind the backboard.
Exactly.
Yeah. So with basketball, for sure, I get that, but the point is, like going in this London, case, it matches because they're going to London. I just never experienced that myself.
Not
for
a football
stadium.
It's like a soccer stadium, and they're trying to play football in a soccer stadium. And
and we can talk about like even college, like the Pinstripe Bowl, where they're you're playing in a baseball stadium, things like that. So you're 100%. It's hard to call those because it's just such a different environment. Are they all grass though? At least.
Yeah. Grass or field turf, one of the two.
Yeah.
But it's close enough to natural grass. All right, so let's get into this one because this is a big one for me. I said it earlier when we covered this game during the week. I'm picking whoever's the dog against the Eagles until the Eagles lose, just because I know they're not going undefeated, and it's just a matter of time before somebody figures out, And I think Jacksonville showed us a little bit of a blueprint of how you can get after them, and like Jalen Hurts did not have a good game. He had he good completion percentage, put up some yards, but no touchdowns, a pick, lost a fumble. You know what I mean? Like just had, turned the ball over a couple of times. If it weren't for Hassan Reddick and Miles Sanders, like Philadelphia loses that game, and they lose it bad.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this and I'm like, all right, Kyler Murray ain't Trevor Lawrence,
right?
Like. They're gonna have to do something different pass rush wise. So I like the Cardinals as part of that parlay, and I like them as just like a little nibble bet. Being realistic, I don't really think the Cardinals are going to win this game, but I think it's worth us taking a stab at it in case they do. And I like that spread. I like them possibly keeping it closer. They are playing at home, but I think there's some really ripe opportunities for some prop plays, and I'm excited to hear what you got for us.
Yeah, well, like I said on the show earlier, this game is going to be won or lost in the trenches. I think on the show we did last week, I said that, or not last week, earlier in the week, I said that, because the Eagles, they're the second best offense in terms of yards, third best defense in terms of yards. Cards are in the middle of the pack for both, but the key matchup here is the run game. Like I said, Eagles are the fifth best running game in terms of yards, and Arizona's the fifth best rush defense in terms of yards. But good news for the Eagles is they are also elite in the passing game. They're the sixth best passing team, and Arizona's the 23rd best passing defense. So, not that I don't think the Eagles' rushing props can hit, but I'm more inclined to take their passing props and receiving props just because of the fact that it could get shut down. They could have to get away from that. But I think the Eagles still fare well if they do have to get away from that. One thing I like specifically is Dallas Goddard. What's Dallas Goddard's numbers set at right now? That's what I was waiting on all week.
Yards?
Either. Yeah, yards. We'll go through all of it.
All right, let's see. Hang on a second. This yards? Yeah, okay. He is at 45.5, minus 110.
Yeah, I'll take that. 45.5 and minus 110. He's averaging 15 yards per catch, so that he only needs 3, really, which is about what he's averaging per game, 3 catches. He's had at least 60 yards in 3 out of the 4 games. The one game he missed, I'm not sure what he had. Let me look, because the one game he missed might have been over this line. No, he had 3 catches for 26 yards against the Commanders. But yeah, he's hit 3 catches for 60, 5 for 82, 5 for 72 last week, and then the Commanders game that I just mentioned. But I mean, I like him against this Cards defense. The Cards' first 3 weeks, their tight end opponents were Travis Kelce, 8 catches, 121 yards and a touchdown. Darren Waller, 6 catches, 50 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Higbee, 4 catches for 61 yards. So I think Dallas Goddard is a good look. They clearly can't stop the tight end. But like the point you bring up all the time is those coaches know it also, so they're going to maybe key in on that. So we also want to take a look at other players, but
yes and no. All right. If I'm playing against Jalen Hurts and this Philadelphia offense, the last guy I'm scheming around.
Oh, Dallas Goddard can beat me. If Dallas Goddard beats me,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
I'm stopping AJ Brown and Devontae Smith.
That's why I'm still taking
Jalen Hurts. So I love this pick. Actually,
That's why I'm still taking him. Yep.
I actually would look at what do they have? Dallas got alt receiving yards. I would actually even like bang this 70 yards here,
or at least 60. Do they have 60 or no?
Yeah, 60 is there too. 60? Plus, 60 is plus 182. Yeah, that's a great point.
Because he's hit 60 in 3 out of 4.
60,
why not?
60 plus. 60 plus.
When he hits more than 26, he hits 60.
Yeah.
So I mean, might as well juice it up.
I'm really liking that, and I think because conversely, from a coaching standpoint, if I'm trying to what's the Eagles coach? Senseri or whatever. Some Italian. I was gonna say that, and I was like, let me not say that. But
I'm Italian. I can say it.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Sirianni, Nick Sirianni.
That's it.
It just came in my head. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, well, see, and I had Nick Senseri.
Daniel Jones is having a day.
He is. I'm telling you.
Playing well.
Look, bro.
17 for 20. I mean, not a day. He's not like lighting it up, but 17 for 22 is very efficient.
Yeah. His name is not picks. Daniel Jones. His name is Dollar General. What's his face?
Ryan Tannehill?
The quarterback from the Bills.
Dollar General Baker Mayfield.
No,
I'm just kidding. Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen. That's it. I was like, man, my brain is like. I got too many names going through my head right now, but we're trying to think of the Philadelphia coach. Yes, Sirianni. If I'm him, I'm looking at like, okay, they're going to try to take away AJ Brown. They're going to try to bracket Devontae Smith. They're going to try to plug the run game because we're shredding people there. And on these RPOs, I'm putting the ball in Miles Sanders' gut and I'm pulling it out and I'm rolling and I'm finding Dallas Goddard 12 yards down the field on a drag. Yep. And I'm hitting him and I'm letting him turn it upfield. And so I'm mixing that in a lot. So I actually I'm banging this 60 plus yards for plus 182. Absolutely.
Oh shit. Yeah. Are the Giants about to go for it?
I don't know. I think they have to. I think they have to.
Yeah, you have to go for it here. 4th and goal at the 2. Yeah, you got to go for it.
So plus 60 at 182, plus 182. Yeah, I'm all over that.
Yeah, I love that. I'm actually going to take that. Thank you for mentioning that because I didn't even. Well, obviously, I'm always thinking about the fact that you can do the alts, but I didn't think about the fact that the 60 would be so much value there for Goddard and all those matchups that you just mentioned where they're going to bracket other people. Most likely. So, yeah, I like that play. That's a good play. That's all I had for that game. I mean, obviously, there's other things to look at. On the Arizona side, I like that rushing yards prop for Kyler Murray that you mentioned on the show before. I love that.
I like. Let me look at Connor for his receiving because that could be.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that too on the show. I remember. Yeah.
Total receptions, James Conner 3.5 plus 126. I like that because I think this is
plus 3.5 catches. Plus
because
that's solid value.
Because you have so much upfield pass rush, and I think to take a little of the heat off of Kyler Murray,
dump offs,
having those dump offs, and then also it creates a situation too where it's not even designed, but Connor's back there to chip, he's back there to protect, and
he just
the pass rush gets to him anyway.
Yep.
Murray breaks contain, and he just turns around and spins off, and he's the relief valve for Kyler Murray. So
I like that too.
One. I like that one. So so that's my play on that one. That Goddard over 60 and let me go to that one because I had where was that? All receiving yards.
Yep.
So this is the other one.
Dude, that's some solid value. I mean, when he does hit yards, when he gets gets some volume and gets
Right.
some touches and some yards,
It's a rain or it
hitting
pours
60.
kind of thing.
He's averaging 15 a catch, so he gets 5 catches. We're good, I mean,
absolutely.
they're throwing to him downfield, and he's making plays. So.
Yeah, so we got one more, and then the Bengals Ravens game. So Cowboys Rams, what you got?
I'm actually gonna. There's enough time here. We got an hour and a half before the 1:00 game start for your full parlays, but you got a few hours before this game starts. So more than enough time. Anybody who's watching to go check out the video that we did. Me and Mike from ZMT Sports did it earlier in the week, so it's on the channel right here from yesterday. We talked about a few player props in there, so those are my thoughts in that video. And Chad, what do you have on this game?
I mean, I really got nothing except for you already know. Right here. That's so high though. 150. I mean, I got killed last week. I went with this. I got bounced out of that contest because I went with this instead of Matthew Stafford.
Should have went Debo Samuel under 29 and a half rushing yards or touchdown. I had you, bro. You asked me for a lock. I gave you a lock.
Giants just scored, by the way.
They
got a first and goal. They got a first and goal, and then Gary Brightwell just scored. So anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nice. Yeah. No, you're good. No, I was it's funny, like about giving you the picks, and then you went a different route and lost. That happened the other week. It was actually your picks that I gave to this guy, which is funny. So these guys that come my own picks. These guys that come to my bar, they come in Saturday mornings. They the one dude owns like the Honda in town or whatever. So he's loaded, whatever. He walks in, he's like, "Yo, Adam, where we put our money today?" And I give him like 2 plays every day to throw the money, right? So I told him, this was like 2 weeks ago, I think. So I told him Florida plus 10.5. I think it was the Tennessee game. And then it was Ohio State minus 10.5 first half.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And those were plays from your show that morning that I just listened to. And he came in like 10 minutes later after I was listening to that. So I gave him the play, right? Somebody texted them in a group chat, whoever their other source was, I guess, and told them to take some other game. I forget what it was. But the team they ended up taking was down 21-0 in like the second quarter. They're sitting there eating their lunch and they're yelling like, "No more rounds. We just lost all our." They put like 500 straight on this game, right? So he was in yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
He was in yesterday. He's like, "Yo, what's up, Adam?" I was like, "Hey, listen, buddy. Does Florida plus 10.5 and Ohio State first half money line or first half by 11 ring a bell?" He was like, "Oh yeah, good calls, dude." I was like, "Yeah, how'd your game turn out?" He's like, "Oh yeah, we lost." I was like, "Yeah, next time the advice isn't free. Either take it or leave it, motherfucker." So you're paying next time.
Oh shit, that's
no,
funny.
Because it's a valid point because you don't value my advice right now because I was giving it to you for free.
Right.
So I'm gonna make you pay me $20 for a pick next time.
You pay me for it. Yeah. Then you'll actually take that play. Yeah.
That's what I told him. He gets it. He's a business guy. But my bad, dude. You just brought that up. So I just
no worries. All right, so let's get into this Baltimore Cincinnati game because I actually have been seeing a lot of people like banging this Cincinnati side, and I just don't see it. Like I love Joe Burrow, I love Jamar Chase. I'm a big LSU fan, as you know, and I want the Bengals to win this game, but I just don't see prime time in B-More. Like this is a big deal, and this is a big game, and Lamar Jackson, after underperforming last week, throwing that pick late in the game. Uncle Hotep even saying that Jalen Hurts is better than him because of Hurts beat the Jags and they haven't beaten anybody all year, and Baltimore lost in overtime to Buffalo. Like, come on, man. I think that this line could probably be a touchdown, and I would still think like Cincinnati would be hard pressed to cover that. So I like Baltimore in this game, and I actually like Lamar Jackson at this plus 145 anytime touchdown. I think he walks one in at some point. Yeah. So what do you see in this one? I know you've done a good bit on this one.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens passing defense is terrible. So I think that anywhere you look, pick a receiver on the Bengals, they might hit the over. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, you're always getting a good value at that. Go look at the longest receptions and what they're offering there because The
Real quick before we
Ravens.
do that, we got
Go ahead.
66.5 for T. Higgins and 70.5 for Jamar Chase. These numbers are like, so T. Higgins, as much as he's been lighting it up, he's still, I think he was in like the mid 50s, the first few weeks of the season. So these overs haven't come up that much. Jamar Chase was in the 90s at the start of the season. And now here he is, with
the 70s.
Yeah. So,
well, so I look at this as like a same game parlay opportunity where you alt them down because they're probably not both going to get 70. You know what I mean? But you can alt them down to where they're both getting 50. Because that's definitely very possible against this Ravens secondary. Though, like I think the real the lock in that thought process would be the longest reception, depending what number they're given. Because they just allow big plays. They just bad. Not necessarily bad coverage, but they just blow coverages and whatnot, left and right.
We got
and they miss tackles and whatnot. So
they're both 24.5, and they're both solid minus money. I mean, it's not
and those are big players. Pick one of those guys, you might get a chance on one of them. Yeah, I wouldn't say pick both, but pick your favorite out of that. I'm not going to tell you to pick out of that because that's one of those. It's like Damien Harris or Ramondre Stevenson, like we talked about earlier. It's one of those situations where I can't tell you who to pick there between T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. One of them's going to go off. One of them's going to be solid. They might both go off. It's tough to choose between those. You know? You just kind of got to pick one, whoever you're feeling, and go.
Yeah, I'm not big on Mark Andrews. That number. I think I'd probably be more likely to go here. I'd probably be more likely to go anytime touchdown for plus 110 than Mark Andrews at 70 yards for minus money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's
what's his catches?
Let's see. Let's do receptions
because
that's probably a better bet. I'm always wary of a tight end when the number's that high. Actually getting over it. So 5.5, that's still steep.
He's always good for 5
at minus 128, but you're just
at minus 128. There's just no value there.
There's no value there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not liking that, and I may be wrong, but it's there's nothing wrong with going away from bad money and being wrong. Like okay, cool. Somebody else won that bet, but I didn't lose it, so it's all good to me.
Exactly.
So that's
great point.
I think that's
I think the over hits in this game though for sure.
Yeah. So what do we have? We have Lamar. Okay.
After what we saw on Thursday night, there's no way the NFL lets this go under, right?
I'm not expecting it. 47.5. All right. So Lamar TD. Then we got Higgins and Chase.
Or one or the other, at least.
Higgins.
Pick one.
Pick one. Pick the one you like the most, and then Andrews touchdown. I'm just kind of writing down.
I like Andrews touchdown because, what's always a good play to look at, and it burned us last week because he only got one against the Bills. But Lamar Jackson's touchdowns props are pretty much always plus money for over 1.5 passing touchdowns. If you want to look at that too,
let's look at that too. Yeah,
because it's not he's not going to hit it every single game, but you're getting good value mostly every game on that.
Yeah, it's minus money.
When it's minus money, I don't take it.
Yeah,
I take that when it's plus for Lamar Jackson, just because they could run it. He could run 2 in, like you just said. He could run 1 in, but he could run 2 in, and now we missed both of those. Especially down on the goal line. They don't run very good goal line offense. That's why I disagree with all those 2-point conversions and going for it that they do all the time because they're just not good at it. They've lost way more games from making those decisions than losing games by just getting blown out or just losing the game. They lose more games by just not kicking the ball. I mean, I get it. Go for it. Be aggressive, but you're not the Chiefs. The Chiefs, if it's the Chiefs calling those plays left and right, I agree every time. Win or lose, I agree. Because we know that they have the most creative plays down there at the goal line. They have a laundry list of things they can do down there. They can, you know what I mean? They're going to throw something different at you every week. The Ravens are dropping Lamar back and running a couple crossing routes and hoping for the best on a 2-point conversion with the game on the line. Yeah, they're not running anything fancy, and I don't think they're capable of it. They won't execute it if they did. The Chiefs are just they run perfect execution down there. So I mean, but I think that's what the Ravens like are trying to be. They want to be that, but they're not efficient when they do it. They lose the games when they do it. So my point is, when it's not plus money, I stay away from Lamar Jackson passing touchdowns because he might just run it in, or they might run the ball, or they might just not score when they're down there.
Yep. So we're at so you like
when it's plus money, it's worth it.
Yeah, you like the over. Yeah, and you like the over here as well. And I think
like one of them for their longest possession, longest reception.
So back
T.
to
Higgins
that,
and Jamar Chase. I like that a lot. One of them.
Yes. So back to that. Your analysis of like the touchdowns and the potential for the passing touchdown props. I'm looking at that and I'm saying like, I know it's they're 9.5 minutes left. But anyway, so I like the over for that reason as well. So like if you go over instead, now it doesn't matter how those touchdowns come. Like you're just playing game. You're playing the game flow, and that the money's not as good. Money's not as good. And I think Burrow and Jackson both have the potential to walk a touchdown in and cost themselves a passing touchdown. So in that respect, I think that hitting that over is a much better play. And both of these defenses have struggled, so I really like it.
I'm gonna
look at Saquon.
Go follow. Is he back in the game? I heard he was hurt. Somebody said
he just busted a little drag out of the backfield down inside the 25-yard line.
But I'm rooting for the. I want the Giants to win here, so that I want every team to be 4-1 in the NFC East, besides the Commanders, obviously. But how funny would that be? They all start 4-1 after they're the division that we talk about. They're all gonna make the playoffs at 7-10.
Right.
But they're all starting 4-1. How about that? That would be nice. I'm rooting for the Giants for that reason alone, if not anything else.
Yeah.
Follow me on Twitter at it's AG400. I'm gonna put out some plays for one of those little cards with the plays for the Sunday night game before it starts. So around like 4:00, I'll put one of those out as well. So with some better insights on the game.
Yeah, and I'm right there at Chad L is my name, and we got 45 total plays in an hour and a half. So that's an average of a play every 2 minutes. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And so
we got to get our hit rate.
Yeah, we got to get that exactly. We got to hit these. But I have a picture of all the juiciest ones, the ones that we felt the best about. And here goes Daniel Jones. Is he going to get in?
Well, you want to build a quick parlay with the ones we felt best about?
Yeah, for sure. So let's just go.
Out on me.
Oh, I'm good on my end. You're fine over here.
You're lagging on me. All right, I got you now.
Okay. I think it might be.
I don't know what you just said.
Okay,
I don't know what you said in the last
I've got the list here. I've got the list here. So, yes. All right. So, Geno plus 1.5. I'm just going to go through these, and we'll start saying like whether or not you want to include these in the parlay. All right. Geno Smith plus 1.5 touchdowns or more.
No.
Is that a no? All right. Yeah, so
I like the Chris Olave instead.
All right, just real quick. All right, so Olave is a check. All right, so Najee, 15.5 attempts.
Yes.
Fields, 7.5 attempts.
No.
Dalvin, 78.5 yards.
Dalvin
touchdown.
Nah.
Dalvin 17.5 attempts.
Those are just a little. I'm gonna play the safest ones in my opinion.
I know. I got you. Yeah. So Dalvin 17.5 attempts.
I like all of these as straights.
Right. But all right. So 17.5 attempts for.
The rushing attempts. No. I'll stay away from that too. That was one that I'm just like it's worth looking at, but I don't know about it.
No, I got you. All right. So Garrett Wilson 45.5 yards.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep. All right. So stay away from the long.
We can't add the other one now.
Stay away from the long.
We can't put it together.
So I'm just saying, like, if you had to choose if you had to choose one of them, which one you like the 45.5 total better? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going yards. It's just safer.
Fournette, 15.5 attempts.
Well, it's between that or the Brady 2.5 touchdowns because we can't do both for FanDuel. Right. So what are we're going to go with the rushing attempts, right? In my opinion, I think that's the better play.
I think attempts. I think Fournette attempts. Yep. Okay, Jamal Williams.
The Brady one the Brady one is great as a straight because it's plus 168. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I love that as a straight.
Exactly. So Brady.
I'll take. Give me Jamal Williams rushing yards.
All right, Jamal Williams rushing yards. All right, so let's. I'm gonna have to go through and start building this. So now we have enough of them that I'm actually gonna put this together. So here we go. All right, y'all ready? Here we go. We're gonna.
How many are we at right now?
We are at 5 legs. So we were at Geno touchdowns. Let's kill that. All right, so
no, Geno touchdown wasn't in it.
Oh no, it wasn't. You're right. It was Olave. My bad.
I didn't put Geno in
Olave 22.5 long. Longest reception. Olave 22.
Shit, Giants about to punch it in.
Yeah, first and goal from the 2.
To punch it in.
First and goal from the 2. Yeah.
Shit. Uh-oh.
Done. Saquon.
Right, so yeah, you building it right now?
Yeah, Saquon just scored. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so then
you're building it right now? Throw it on the screen.
Oh shit, I don't have it. My bad. I didn't even realize I didn't have it on the screen. My bad. I'm sitting here building it thinking I'm on the screen the whole time.
You're good.
All right, so
that's why I mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah. So Najee was 15.5 attempts. All right. So far, so good. All right, let's go back. So now we're at Garrett Wilson. And we skipped 3 games to get to the next one. All right.
Well, so we didn't skip all of those in general with our plays.
No, I'm saying like for this parlay, good plays. Yeah. 45.
Well, I'm not gonna make a 8 leg parlay. I don't want to.
Oh no, I got you.
I would rather.
With you.
Yeah.
It's just funny that the games that we're like
16, whatever.
Those don't qualify for this. All right, so let's go Fournette.
Stay away from that.
Attempts.
Yeah. And then we got Fournette. Yep.
14.5. Oh, it's down. Now it's down to 14.5. So we're getting a little easier play on our money
Even
there.
Better.
So,
thank you.
So I'm going to alter that one. That's going to be 14.5 as our official play. even though when we initially said it, we were good with 15.
Why not? Because if you get stuck at 15, if you missed it, you should have watched the whole show.
You should have watched the whole show, motherfuckers. Shit. All right, and then Jamal Williams was 66.5.
What do you think? Do you think his rushing attempts or his rushing yards? What do you think, Chad? You call it.
The one that I wrote down. The one that I wrote down that was better. The better play was actually now that one's down to 60.5.
Yes, then we're doing that.
Oh,
that's the better play then. Yeah. I'll take that value. Fuck it.
All right.
Drop down. We already ranked it at 66.5. Why not?
We're at 20-1 on this play.
Damn. Let's throw Wentz touchdowns in there because that's plus 150. That'll juice that shit up. And then we could take one out that we like the least or something, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down with that. All right. So this
because we don't need to get too risky,
Let's go to Wentz, TDs, 1.5. Oh gosh, that's 55-1.
What's how many legs are we at? 6, right?
6, yeah, 6 legs. So
all right, what do you think is the least safe in that, Chad? Well, first, what does $5 get us on this one? It's 50-1, so it's
it's gonna be
nice little hit.
110 or something. Yeah. Sorry. No, my bad. Yeah, 278. I had I was doing 10-1, not
yeah. Yeah, so 20, I mean that ain't bad right there, but do you want to take one out that's the most risky one, or do we like all 6 of those? I kind of like all 6 of those.
Yeah, I like all 6 of them. The longest reception for Olave is one where it's like, man, it would suck for him to get a 19-yard square in, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Let's take him out then.
Yeah, take him out then. If we take that one out, it's not going to.
That's only minus 122 anyway. Yeah, it's not like
so we're still 5 for 150. And we could actually go
10 for 300 right there.
We could actually go back to the Olave play and not take him out completely. And
put yards in, or we could go Geno. Maybe we could even go Geno there instead. That was our other read on that game, so we could go Geno there.
Let's look at this.
If you want to, because that'll juice it. It's plus 126, but I don't know.
Olave at 60. So. Olave at 68.5 is steep, but let's look at this though. Let's look at
doing
Olave
all.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
Yeah, we already have value here.
So if we're at 50 yards, we still boost our odds by $50 by just throwing Olave in there at 50 yards.
So now it's 5 for 200.
Yeah, let's see if we do this instead.
I don't hate that.
Yeah. So if we do that, Yeah.
What's that,
So
40 yards?
40 yards, we still get an extra $28 out of our play.
So that's 170, 78. What about if we should we? You think we should? No, actually, I kind of like that. This looks
Yeah,
good.
I kind of like it as is.
Read it to me again, just because
All right,
I can't.
so
It's a little
Najee
small on my screen.
Harris over 15.5 attempts. Garrett Wilson over 45.5 receiving yards. Fournette over 14.5 rushing attempts. Jamal Williams over 60.5 rushing yards. Carson Wentz over 1.5 passing TDs. Chris Olave over 40 yards or 40 or more yards.
And it's 5 to win 278 or
178. Yeah, 5 to
178.
win 178. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Let's lock that in. That's our play for the day.
So that's that one. So yeah, and I didn't really feel that great about the stuff below that on our list. You're getting into like the Eckler, Chubb, McCaffrey, Kittle, Goddard. I do like the Goddard play. That's one that I might actually I actually like that as part of this. Let me see. You mind if will you indulge me real quick to see? So that'll be a 6-leg parlay, and then we'll just we'll sprinkle like $2 on this, and we'll see what this looks like. If we go Dallas Goddard as his straight, or let's go.
Hold on. I'm gonna be right back while you're doing that, bro.
All right. So Dallas Goddard at only 40 yards. Boosts this to 295. If we put him down to, oh man, I hate when it does that. All right. So if we knock him down to he only needs 25 yards, we're still big time boosting our odds. But I'm actually going to go with this instead because I really like what that does to the money. So if I do, that's 295, and this one is 220. Ooh. That extra 15 yards, is it worth it? Is it worth the fuck, I did it again. Damn, I always do that. I hate that it clears the whole thing. Like I wish it would just leave it alone. But yeah, so I'm kind of liking that. Adding Dallas Goddard in. That's a $75 difference for that play. So we said we were going to do $2 on that one. So if I do $2, that's still $118. I'm definitely swinging that one. So yeah, that's the deal. And I don't know where AG went, but yeah. So in the first hour and a half of this show, we gave you 45 plays. That's with our descriptions and explanations and analysis that led us to those picks. It was about $2. About 2 minutes per pick per play. So all right. So look, AG, this is what I did. So I have this $2 parlay. Goddard 40 plus yards. Boosts it $2 is 118. So just to give you a perspective, if we did our $5 initial bet that we had done for the 6-leg play, we just boosted it by it goes to 295 versus 178. So it's like
just
100,
Goddard 50,
100 yards, $100 extra dollars for 40 plus yards from Goddard. And I actually really like him as a play in that game.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. I mean, yeah, might as well, right?
So if I drop him in, well, I'm just saying we could do both. So I had that as a $2 play.
Oh, I got you.
So I have our 6-leg as a $5 play, and then I have this 7-leg as a 2. So I actually kind of like that concept of, maybe you do a 3-leg parlay for $10, and then you walk it back and you do $5, and then you boost it to 5 legs, and then you go to 7 legs, and that's a $2 play. So you have 17 total. So you're almost kind of building your own sort of round robin in that respect. Yeah. So you go with your stuff you're most confident with, and then you start filling in from there. And the odds are already changing. So, somebody else is feeling this Dallas Goddard play. So anyway, that's it. That's what we got. And so we'll go with that as our officials. Our 6 and 7-leg parlays for today. Yep. So yeah, I'm with it.
Me too. All right. Best of luck betting everybody this week or this weekend today, tomorrow. That's right. We'll be back again with the show tomorrow for the Monday night game, Chiefs at Raiders. That'll be a fun one, I think. So I'll cook some good stuff up for that. I think should be a good game. So
yeah.
I'll enjoy that one.
Peace, y'all.
Best of luck, everybody. Peace.